brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. I said, in this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. You make this parade a mere charade if you're marching just for fun. Our troops must feel your thanks for real before the marching is done. They know side by side you can match their stride to the drum beat and the brass, but they're not impressed with you unless you can match their stride in class. This may not sound too diplomatic, but I cannot be more emphatic as I tell you, it's problematic when you do less than your best. Especially when it's because you put your brilliance on pause for the mere peer applause it draws from a so-called friend doing less. Quit playing, I'm saying, you know that you are great, and we know it, so show it. Don't make our heroes wait. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you.
Good afternoon and welcome to Wave Your Grades on KUAW.org, the academic patriotism program that is dedicated to veterans and serious secondary scholars. I am your announcer, DeQuay Wilson. Now here is our host, civilian urban educator, Carl Boyd.
Thank you so very, very much, DeQuay Wilson. DeQuay Wilson is our producer. She is our engineer. She is our announcer, and she is our co-host. P-E-A-C-H. She's a peach. Producer, engineer, announcer, co-host, DeQuay Wilson. And DeQuay, sometime in this conversation you have to join us. I'm about to have too much fun. And when I say fun, I don't mean it in a humorous way. I am suggesting that this brother who is going to join us this afternoon has expertise in so many different areas that I could simply say a word and we could have a full program. Another reason, however, that it is fun for me is because February 18th, 1961, at 2:44 p.m. in Chicago, Illinois, I became a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, the iota chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi, and happened to have with us this afternoon a fraternity brother. Brother Mark Davis, he can tell us when and where, before we get into the conversation, that you became a member. So here he is, Brother Mark Davis.
Yeah, the Mighty Mu chapter, University of Kansas, 4585, 4:44 a.m.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, is it all right as far as the microphone is concerned? I just want
I'll work with him. He can pull it closer. I'll work
all
with
right.
him.
That's what I thought.
There we go.
I thought perhaps. But the reason that is interesting, tell me your position with Black Archives, for instance.
Well, I'm currently serving on the board with the Black Archives
Yes.
of Mid-America on 18th and Vine, and I'm the treasurer. And we have, I think, 9, 10 other members that are on the board.
Yes, sir. And what is your professional field, occupation, that kind of thing?
Well, I'm a financial advisor, so I make people wealthy.
Absolutely. So that when I suggest that we might be talking about the Black Archives of Mid-America, or we might be talking about financial advisor, the day happens to be April 13th. So I know you're doing a lot of advising through this weekend. But I am particularly delighted in our opportunity to come together today because Sister DeQuay Wilson, our Wave Your Grades program, and its sponsor, Stutes for Boots, and Stutes for Boots, American Students Striving for Excellence in Honor of Our Troops, is about to initiate a major movement that allows those who are serving in our military and those who have served to have a measure of pride because they know they're not serving in vain. It sounds like a cliche, and even if it is, it still rings true. We are asking American students to strive for excellence in honor of our troops, in honor of those who have served, in honor of those who are serving. So, if I said financial advice, if I said Black Archives and a number of other things, we can have that conversation. But Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity is an organization that stands for achievement, but not only for those who are members of the fraternity, but we reach out, we reach back. And one of those programs in particular, Brother Mark Davis is?
I'm the chairman of our Kappa League program.
Yes, sir.
And Kappa League is a national organization by a fraternity. We work with young men between sixth grade to their senior year, but then we don't lose touch with them when they go to college. They come back. Sometimes they come up as guest speakers. We still mentor them. The great thing about the fraternity is we have people in every field, every human field of endeavor.
Yes, sir.
So a lot of times once they go to college, then we can match them up with
Oh,
other
man.
brothers that are already in that particular field
Yes,
to
sir.
help mentor them. My son is a perfect example. He's a Kappa man also. I'm
All
proud of
right.
that.
Yes, sir.
He majored in agricultural business. He just had an interview for a promotion in Monterey, California, I think it is. And it just so happens to be that the individual that interviewed him happened to be a Kappa man.
Wow. There you are.
Yeah, so he got the job, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And interestingly enough, when we think in terms of undergrad brothers and the opportunity to join the fraternity in college, you are talking about now young people who are not at an age where they can pledge a fraternity. But from sixth grade, is there any magic to sixth grade in particular?
We try to get them at sixth grade because they're still malleable. We can still,
Yes, sir.
speak with them. Also, the good thing about the sixth graders is when we have people in the program that in their junior and senior year, I'm a man of a certain age, right?
Yes.
So there can be a communication gap there.
Yes.
But those juniors and seniors speak those sixth graders' language. But and so a
makes-
lot of times we can have those older people in the Guide Right program, Kappa League program, speak to my younger kids
Yes.
and be examples to them. So we gotta get them when they're still kind of a little bit green.
Yes, sir.
And these kids there's so much information thrown at them at a lot earlier age, but they're at a maturity level at sixth grade where we can have some of those, lack of a better word, those tough conversations.
Yes, sir.
With them. And it's my experience when it comes to racism and things of that nature. When I talk to kids that are younger than 6, they really haven't experienced
Exactly.
it based on their environment. But as they start to get into middle school and then get out, then they start to kind of see it and they start having questions or questioning it, or they're being questioned about who and what they really are, and their
Oh,
power's
man.
being taken from them at that age. So we got to make sure we're reminding and re-educating these young men at an early age so they know the truth as they get older.
Let me say that even already, and certainly throughout the program, we will return to this. There are parents, grandparents, older educators, others who are already interested in contacting you about the contents of the program and eligibility. How would someone get in touch?
The two best ways to get in contact with me is, one is my cell phone. You can feel free to text me and or
Good.
call me. My number is 816-213-3711. Or you can email me. My email address is MAD, so that's MAD, it's my initials, 626@gmail.com. So MAD626@gmail.com. If they're interested in finding out more information about the program. And I'm sorry, you asked me a second part to that question.
No, it was just contact information primarily. Also eligibility requirements.
Yeah, I'm just looking for young men. Now I've made a little bit of a change to the program.
Oh,
We're
good.
looking for young men from age 6 to senior year.
Now, is it 8-6 or 6?
I'm sorry. Yeah, 6th grade to 12th grade. Now, a lot of times, what I found out is we get a lot of high A and B students in the program, and I don't have a problem with that, right? But really, if you look at outreach, I'm looking for kids. I'm looking for C students,
Yes, sir.
high D students,
Yes, sir.
and low B students.
Okay.
Because I was a C student. I wasn't an A student.
Thank
you. Know, I didn't bring home D's because I had one of the mamas. I bring
Oh.
home a D. You know,
Believe me, I
Right.
do understand that.
right? But those are the kids I got to reach. Brother Boyd, there's a statistic out there from last year that really bothered me. Of the 180, I think 185 murders
Yes,
that
sir.
occurred last year,
Yes, sir.
119 of them were black men between the ages of 18 and 24. And to add on to that, the reason for the altercations that led to the shootings were
Yes.
an argument. An argument.
Yes, sir.
So we've got a generation of young men out there that need examples and need to learn how to do conflict resolution. You know, I'm a man of a certain age. You may
Yes,
be able
sir.
to relate to this. When we were younger, you know, you had the bully or somebody,
Yes,
and
sir.
you go to the playground, you have a fight, and later on that day, y'all two are the best friends in the world.
That's very true.
Yeah. But you can't have that if you have an argument with somebody and then you murder them.
Not only that. I use this example often. Back in the day, you and I have heard the term, quote, playing the dozens, unquote.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now here, Ronald and I are messing with each other. And example, man, your mama's so fat, she's on both sides of the family. Okay. So the people in the group, they laugh,
Right.
and then he hits me back with something. Your mama's so bow-legged when she sits around the house. She sits all the way around the house. Okay. So we're doing this, and this is at lunchtime. This is at noon. 1 o'clock in class, Mark Davis pulls me over and says, man, I don't know if you knew it, but Ronald's mother is on medicine, and it makes her blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he didn't say it, but he's real sensitive about his mother's weight. Oh, man, let me check with him. After school, now it's 3:15. Hey, man, I didn't know. Oh, man, forget it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I had from lunchtime until we went to school, and then after school, caught up with him. Boom. In today's world of multimedia, mass media, I say, man, your mama's so fat, and already it's across the world.
Yeah.
So that our young people are having to negotiate a society that calls upon them to be cool enough to wait. And when you say not only that it involves weapons, but now the question comes up, how do you attain the weapons? How is it that we are in a society today where that is so prevalent? So you are absolutely right. Get them as early as we can.
Yeah. Easier to get a weapon than it is to get a college degree.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
It is absolutely amazing. And so it is, by the way, that Kappa League does have some activities. You might want to talk about something that is coming up. And by the way, this being April, we're coming near the end of the school year. Are there times to enroll, times to check, or is it year-round? How does that go?
Well, we're actually going to go year-round this year. We're on a sabbatical right now because, Capitals, we have a new location. And so we're getting that ready. So we're actually going to kick our Kappa League, and we have Kappa League and Guide Right.
Yes, sir.
I use them kind of interchangeably.
Okay.
But we'll be kicking off again in June,
Oh.
first week of June.
Yes.
So right now we're going through our recruiting process.
All
So
right.
we're looking for our older kids to come back, but we're looking for
Yeah.
new kids. And Brother Boyd, we do a lot of things. I do a lot of things that are a little different than
Okay.
we've done in the past.
Okay.
One of our sessions we had last year was real powerful. Was on cyber bullying, like what you just talked about.
Yes, sir.
Because where in your case you had time to go and talk to the young man and apologize, show some empathy, right? Now it happens at lightning speed.
My Lord.
And 45 people know what goes on before you even know what's out there.
Wow.
And so if someone tells a lie about you, and you can't fix it, how do you, just stay off of social media, but everybody else already
Oh,
knows
my
it.
Lord. Absolutely.
And so it puts a whole nother dynamic on these kids. And whereas within our community, teen suicide used to kind of be an anomaly. Well, we don't do that. Well, not anymore. We have a lot of black children who are killing themselves over cyberbullying, and it's an epidemic.
It's interesting that you said that, because when talking to young people, I say to them, I went to high school from 1955 until 1959. 4 years. 55, 59, 4 full years. We heard a rumor about one brother in 4 years who thought about committing suicide, and we thought the person was not telling the truth. One rumor about that. And so it is now, having the sensitivity at my age that I do, when I ask in a group of young people, how many of you have heard about or know someone, or, I mean, before I finish the question, it's there.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things the Kappa League is interested in and concentrates on. There is the idea of the achievement, wanting to make sure that their attendance and achievement are what they ought to be. And the other thing that you mentioned is camaraderie, positive peer pressure,
Yeah.
and these young men being able to come back.
It's like anything else. You're going to get out of it what you put into
Ooh.
it. But we have, like I said, a variety of men that are working with these guys. So we work on career training.
Yes, sir.
Resumes, how to do resumes. Where we got an achievement academy we were talking about. Where we're going to be doing some STEM things so we can keep them updated in technology. But I don't want to forget those trades that are out there.
Yes, sir.
Because college is not for everyone.
Exactly.
And a lot of times parents are pushing their children to college so that my son goes to Kansas or Mizzou or something of that nature. So we're really trying to make it aware that you can go to some of these trade schools for 2 years and get out and you're making like $60,000, $70,000, $80,000.
Yes, sir.
And the beautiful thing about a trade, Brother Boyd, is I kind of tell this joke. My neighbor's an electrician, and I was a business major.
Yes, sir.
And he got laid off, right? And I got laid off.
Uh-oh.
And the difference between the two of us was he got laid off. Guess what he was? He was an electrician, so he could go and still do what he had to do, right?
Yes, sir.
And I was just unemployed. Right? I had to go find someone that I could exchange my knowledge for it in order to make money.
Man,
he used his hands.
Listen, and by the way, DeQuay Wilson, please join us in this conversation. Go ahead and say what you were about to.
Well, the thing is there's so many trades that we will need people to fulfill. A lot of people don't want to do certain things, but we need people to fill those trades. But also I wanted to add, not only do they make so much money, they walk away debt-free with that education or very minimal debt. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to add, the debt part of it.
Now,
Thank you.
And what she just said something key I want everybody to key on. They come out of school with very little or minimal debt. Think about this for a minute, Brother Boyd.
Wow.
You got a 17-year-old. They will not give them a loan to start a business, but they'll give him a loan to go to college.
Yes, sir.
There was an article in Forbes magazine that said the average college student is coming out making an average of $10 an hour, but they got $70,000 of student loan debt.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it is very interesting because by the time our young people are graduating from high school, absent the opportunity to understand what they're getting into, not only what they're getting out of, but what they're getting into. So many situations today look at, in retrospect, how did I get myself in this? So now it's figuring out how to overcome something that you didn't realize you were getting into at the time that you were. And that's why a program like Kappa League is very important at a very young age. So if I have a grandchild, in my case a great-grandchild, who would be at that age level, what might I anticipate as it relates to starting in 6th grade, a consistent curriculum, if you will, all the way through high school? And do you find that many of the you're ready for me?
Go ahead though.
That many of the youngsters do go through the whole program.
Okay, I am gonna go through that. We have 4 major initiatives when we go through our Kappa League. So we have college prep. So we got college savings aid, virtual college tours, black college expos, because
Ooh.
we want to expose, I always tell you, my line is, this is my truth, right?
Yes,
It might
sir.
not be the truth. This is my truth. There again, I'm a country boy, and you want to go fishing, you go where the fish is at. That's just how it is, right?
Yes, sir.
So you got to understand, these corporations, when they're looking for black employees or doing diversity with black folks, they don't go to KU. They come to UAPB.
Thank you.
Places like that, University of Arkansas, Pine Bluff. They're going to those black colleges and see those and get those folks. And I tell you, this is sad. Growing up, I didn't know that they were black schools.
Wow.
I thought, United Negro College Fund, I
Yes,
just thought
sir.
it was a fund to help black people go to college. I
Okay.
had no idea. And do you think one of the counselors ever told me about a black college?
Oh,
No,
I'm sure
not at all. And I'm from Junction City, Kansas.
Wow.
Now the positive of that is, it's a military town, and so and the positive of that is it's very diverse. So you get a diversity of people, but you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know what they're not telling you. So we had
Wow.
no idea that they had
Wow.
black schools. But we work on college success. We do social action, community service. So we do a lot of community service around
Oh,
the area.
yeah.
And then also we have, which will be starting up, it's called KUAW League TV. So much like what you're doing right
Yes, sir.
now, we have the young men actually do their own broadcast. And,
Absolutely.
it'll be on YouTube. So we can help them through different career paths.
Yes, sir.
And that's the other thing I kind of spoke about earlier. But if we find out that a young man has a certain career track, we actually get him his own personal career mentor. So if let's say, hey, I'm interested in being a financial advisor or something like that, a financial
Yes.
coach. Well, I would actually kind of, lack of a better word, adopt him from a career perspective. These are the skill sets you need to know. This is how it works, things of that nature,
Yes.
which is really good. So we try to, but my main thing is, I just don't want people to overlook the trade schools. It's extremely
Yes,
important.
sir.
I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget it. That student loan debt, you heard about generational wealth?
Yes, sir.
See, student loan debt is generational bondage.
Wow.
See, so because I got a student loan, right?
Wow.
And I'm paying on that thing for 50 years. Now it's time for my kid to go to school. Well, I can't pay for his school because guess why? Because I'm still paying off my student loans. So, I say something not too intelligent like, just go do what I did, And so then my son does it and my daughter does it and their kids and
Yes,
everyone
indeed.
and they get it. The other thing you got to understand is parents have to help their kids adopt AI, artificial intelligence, because I read an article, a Tesla has 20 working parts. A normal car has 20,000 parts. So if you think about that, the O'Reillys and places like that, and, a lot of times you'll have people of color have that, got your
Yes.
shade tree guy that can fix things. All those jobs are going away. McDonald's used to be a job for kids over the summer to make a little bit of
Sure.
money, right? But all of a sudden, people were trying to take care of their families, and I went and stopped at a McDonald's. I shouldn't be eating there, and I actually didn't. But there were no people in the McDonald's.
Exactly.
There was a
Exactly.
kiosk there,
Thank you very much.
and you punch your stuff and swipe your card, and then your food comes down and shoot somewhere.
Go to the bank.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Be quick.
No, I'm just saying, wow, I haven't eaten McDonald's in almost 20 years, so I like, wow.
Yeah.
But
I'm
there,
afraid of AI, and he's encouraging AI.
Yeah.
I'm
well,
afraid of
see,
it.
you and I have technophobia, and I understand that there are advantages and disadvantages, and there are dangers as well as opportunities. But
Well,
please go ahead.
I do some things online. It's just
Yeah.
very limited what I do online because I am afraid of the overwhelming online presence. I am so petrified of artificial intelligence because of the malicious ways that it can be used. So
Well, it was kind of like this, nuclear fission can be a good thing or a bad thing too.
Yes, sir.
And the bad thing,
Yes,
I
sir.
try to explain to people, the toothpaste is already out of the tube.
well, and
It
that,
is.
I completely understand that because it's here and it's not going anywhere. So if that is the case and that is the way of the future generations, then we need to teach them how to be responsible with it, and we need to start now while it's still in its infancy. So I get it, but I'm still terrified. Of
Yeah,
it.
and I love what you said. They've got to get it because it's out there. We have other ethnic groups that are using it. we cannot be a late adopter of it, or we won't be able to take advantage of the good things that are out there. Because it's just like everything else, before there's regulation in it, it's like the Wild West. And so it's kind of like, okay, what can I use this for? And there's a lot of good things, but just like everything, you're exactly right. There's some pretty negative stuff that AI can and will do.
And let me say to our producer, DeQuay Wilson, 11:05 a.m. until 11:44 a.m. yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long it took me to read the agreement that AI asked me to say, I agree and continue. I don't like to just punch, I agree. Took me 40 minutes to read what I was agreeing to. And there was at least one passage that I felt I was a little concerned about, and that was in paragraph 20. And it had these words, will not be held responsible. And the idea was I was getting a new Hewlett-Packard printer
Mm-hmm.
and hooking it up to my laptop. And all I had to do was hit continue, except that I wanted to read to see what it was about. And I came to the determination that the agreement was not as dangerous as I was afraid that it was. But there was a passage that I thought, now am I going to be able to use this, or can I just not agree? And I think, and one day let us get somebody from a court of law, or just talk to Valencia, she's an attorney, that there are certain things that you take to court that are under the title unconscionable. And an unconscionable situation is where it is so out of kilter that you are not going to hold me responsible for something that you caused and are willing to admit that you are the third party who is affiliated with the organization you represent and all of that. So I'm taking my chances. But the other thing that you and my brother Mark Davis just said that is so important, we can't avoid it.
Well, two things on what you said again. I'm so proud that you read that thing, because they know that most people want. See, legally they have to disclose it,
Yes,
but they
sir.
don't have to explain it. And like on a lot of the photo apps, you're actually giving people permission, companies permission, to own the photos that are in your phone. So you could be, looking up something on the internet one day and see, you and your wife, on the beach somewhere in an ad, and like, I didn't give them that. That's a picture someone took. But you're actually giving them, permission. And then two, a lot of times you use these apps, try to delete your stuff. And
man.
you can't get
is
it off.
amazing.
So technology, it's there, but you're right. You need to be, my truth, you got to be very cautious. You got to
Yes,
be,
sir.
because if you're not,
And by the way, and we'll be going to a break right after this, but let me just say this. One of the things that I was blessed to be able to do with Synergy Services, and I left them on my 82nd birthday. I'm just getting older, and I had 3 jobs. But the group with whom I was allowed to participate did a session that I was to name. And DeQuay, you've heard me say that I named my session, Teach Me You. Now, in that session, what I was saying to the young people was, I was 15 in 1957. Teach me 15 in 2023, or now 2024. So that as we talk about the dangers, let us also have them help us to understand negotiating high tech in 2024. Let me do this and then come right back, because you've got some activities I want to talk about, but I mean the concepts of Kappa League, I am so proud to say, make such big sense in today's world. Here is DeQuay Wilson.
It is time to remind our 7th through 12th grade students that you can win a monetary award from our sponsoring organization, Yes, we do say organization on purpose with purpose. Stoots for Boots. Your essay title will be Heroes You Know You Didn't Know Were Heroes. Your content will identify a veteran at your school who can be absolutely anyone, a coach, cafeteria worker, teacher, absolutely anyone. If your essay is chosen and submitted by an adult who gives you permission to read it on this Waive Your Grades program, you will be awarded a monetary prize. For entry or inquiry, please send an email to stootsforboots@gmail.com. That is stootsforboots@gmail.com. stootsforboots@gmail.com. Now back to our host, Carl Boyd.
Thank you so very, very much, Sister DeQuay Wilson. That is stootsforboots@gmail.com. And Kappa League participants can participate in the essay contest. So I'll repeat it now. It is a contest asking students to identify someone in their school who is a veteran. And the title of the essay, Heroes You Know.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know were heroes. So here you are in line, and you've got a tray, and the cafeteria worker is a female in her 40s, not statuesque, just a nice lady who could be your mom. And then you find out that she was a hero in Desert Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Write an essay about her, allow us to read it on the air, and you will be given a monetary award. So I will want to get that to you,
Yeah,
so the
absolutely.
Kappa League participants.
You know, you just reminded me of something too. We have we're a citywide chapter, so
Yes,
Kansas
sir.
City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, but also Leavenworth. And in one of our sessions, we had an officer from Leavenworth, and he came in
Wow.
and he spoke about, you know, the opportunities through ROTC and things,
Yes.
because that's often an avenue we don't look at, you know, going through the whole ROTC program, coming out
Yes.
as an officer and using that as a career track,
Right.
which is really good. So we're going to continue that through our fellow Kappa men that live in Leavenworth.
Outstanding.
Yeah, so-
Okay, I'll make sure that you indeed get that. And in terms of some of the other things, please go ahead.
Yeah. So some of the other things that we're doing, like I said, we do the mentoring programs with the boys. One of the big events, we did this a couple years ago. We're going to reinstitute it. There again, I have to go through a lot of approvals to get this done because times are a little bit different. You know, we have to get, you know, parents' authority to take, you know, boys off site and things of that nature. But what we want to do is a three-pronged approach. We take the boys to Jeff City. You know, they get on the bus and they're loud and they're having fun. And what we do is we take them to the college. We take them to the
Okay.
State House first so they can see that, you know, where the laws are made. Then we take them to LU so they can see that. Then we take them to the prison.
Yes, sir.
And the irony of the whole thing is the dorm room and the prison cell are the same size. And so whereas on the way down there, they talking blah, 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 blah.
Yes,
on the
sir.
way back, you hear a pin drop.
I mean.
Because it's one thing seeing stuff on TV. It's another thing when you go in there and
Yes,
see it for real. You
Yes,
ain't
sir.
not all that tough then. And sometimes kids just need to we take things in visually, and sometimes you just need to see it
Yes.
in order. You're like, wow, and it can make you make a positive or negative change. That's what I'm saying. I think it's important. I think we lose a lot of kids because if you're an A student, you know, there again, you're getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
But when you're that C student, and
Yes.
it doesn't mean that, and having a C average doesn't mean that you're stupid by any stretch of the imagination. You know, there's that old saying that, you know, A students work for C students.
Yes.
I got a couple of A students work for me. I married an A student. but sometimes they just think and process things differently. And we need to accept the way
Wow.
people process information. I'm not a math person, although I'm a finance person. I'm not a math person. And my son had got a B- on some math homework, and my wife had worked with him, so we knew the answers were correct.
Yes.
You know, and so we went to the school, and they were like, "Well, yeah, he didn't get an A on that because he didn't show his work." And I said, he never shows his. I said, "Is the answer right?" He said, "Yeah, the answer's right, but it didn't show the work." I said, "Put a problem on the board," and the teacher put a problem on the board. We don't know how he figured it out, but he got the right answer.
Yes, sir.
So they put another one on the board.
Yes, sir.
And he did it again. And so, well, his answers are right, but he's got to show he might be a genius in that area.
Yes, sir.
And so the way he processes the information is just different, and different is not bad.
Right.
Well, I don't know where we got to the point where
Right.
different is wrong.
Well, let me tell you what's interesting about that, and I'll try to do it quickly. It was in the 1970s. I started teaching in 1964. It was not until the 1970s that I heard the term multiple intelligences.
Mm-hmm.
Now, therefore, we came through, I graduated in 64. So we had three approaches to teaching. One was the didactic approach. The other was coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Socratic teaching came along quite a bit after that. So if I am the didactic teacher, you're in my class, I talk to you Monday through Thursday, and I give you a test Friday. If you pass the test, you're smart. If you didn't pass the test, you're not smart. Now, so here's the little girl in the fifth seat in the fourth row. I didn't know she needed glasses. Here is another student who has been having trouble hearing, but because of peer pressure, they don't want to admit that they can't hear. So here they are failing. Now, we used to use the term rambunctious.
Mm-hmm.
That's a child who can't stay still. In the 70s, that became kinesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
In the 70s, this became a visual learner. In the 70s, this became an auditory learner.
Mm-hmm.
In the 70s, so that the teacher had to make the adjustment to the learning styles of the child,
Mm-hmm.
rather than a child getting lost because their learning style was not compatible to the personality
Mm-hmm.
of a teacher. Prayerfully, we've grown beyond that. But Kappa League students
Mm-hmm.
can, in the vein of Teach Me You, can actually help us to teach.
Yeah. I think, too, we start off every session with a riddle. And the
Wow.
reason we start with the riddle, because it helps us, now this is right on line with you, it helps us identify how the boys think.
Wow.
And also we put them in group. Sometimes we do have group presentations, like, you're stuck on a desert island, what items do you need to take? So we put them in groups like that, and the reason we do that, so we can identify who the leaders are, who the followers are. And so we're doing it in the guise of an exercise, but we're really sitting there watching the boys. So we're like,
man.
okay, so we know this guy. Okay, this guy kind of a bully. This guy is a such and such. Okay, this guy's here.
Ah,
So we can.
thank you.
So now we can massage those things. Okay, you're a leader, so this is what leaders do. So,
And
and
you.
you need people that follow. But what I found, and this is key, your followers in some things you do, but in other things you're a leader.
Yes,
so
sir.
sometimes we're doing some athletic type things, and you'll see a couple kids are leaders. No, we're gonna do this. But then you see other guys when they're doing something that's more strategic.
Yes.
No, this is why we need to do this, and you can see how they're communicating and getting it, and the kids
Wow.
follow. And we want to make sure that they have we want to build the confidence, because this telephone, this media we're talking about,
Yes, sir.
it beats these boys down all the time. And if you
Yes,
keep
sir.
watching it, after a while, your self-esteem is gone.
Yes,
so they
sir.
have to have an avenue, they use the term safe space,
Yes.
but we want to put them in a spot where there are no wrong answers. Tell us what you think. You're not going to get in trouble here by
See,
saying
that
what
is
you
so
think,
important.
to help them with their confidence. And because a
Right.
lot of times the answers are right, but they just won't say it.
Exactly.
Because they don't want to be embarrassed. You can't be
Exa-
embarrassed here.
Thank you.
And as mentors, sometimes we get realizations about us, because when we did a thing on bullying, I was like, I was a bully in high school and I didn't know it because I'm funny.
Yes.
And so what I was doing it so that
Yes,
people,
sir.
and the reason I did it, because I didn't want people to attack me. So before they could attack me, I start making fun of,
Yes,
stuff.
sir.
And I wasn't doing it. I didn't think I was doing it malicious, but as a 60-year-old, I was being mean.
Yes, sir.
To people,
Yes, sir.
just to keep them away from me. But I had to wait till I was 60 to go through that exercise with the kids and realize, man, dang, I was a bully. I got to go find some people to apologize
Yes.
if they still with us.
Absolutely. I do understand without a doubt. And so it is that there are sessions where the interactions are possible and important. Now, what is the regularity of sessions? Is it meeting every so often? formal, or how does that go?
So we meet we do it the same day we do fraternity meetings, so brothers don't forget, right?
Yes,
but we do
sir.
it earlier. But we usually do the third Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Is this the third Saturday this week?
Next week.
Okay, second Saturday. Then. We do the second Saturday of the month, and then we meet in person, and we go over topics or do whatever. Then we have a week off, and then that next week we do a Zoom call, and the
okay.
hopes are so like when we did the bullying. We watched some videos. There's some great videos out there we saw about it. Then we have discussion about it,
Ooh.
and then what we do is take
Yes,
your
sir.
tablet and write down what you observe over the next week or two about bullying, and then on that Zoom call, there was man, this is what I saw. I saw something. Okay, now, Joe Baddison, what'd you do about it? Right?
Okay. Okay. Now, am I participating as an 8th grader with someone who is in 11th grade?
No.
Okay.
No. So we may meet at the same time, but I don't put the older
Okay.
kids with the younger kids. They may meet at the same time, but we'll break
This is
them up
good.
because there's some things that, and the topics may be the same, but the delivery is different.
Wow.
So there
Okay.
again, I gotta bring it down to their particular level.
Yes, sir.
Or with like my junior, my high schoolers. I don't chew my cabbage twice. We straight up with
Okay,
them.
okay. Yes,
my
sir.
younger ones, I can't be that raw, I guess.
All right. Okay.
But
Now, as far as something formal is concerned, is there any announcement, anything that's coming up that folks would be interested in?
now, right now, the main thing is our recruiting. So, like I said, my
Okay.
number is 816-213-3711. I'll be quite honest. Don't leave a voicemail. If I don't answer, send me a text. I
Okay.
respond extremely fast to texts. Voicemails, not so much, right? Because I just don't.
All right.
Everybody got a weakness. That's mine. The other thing is to send that email out to mad626@gmail.com. When you do that, there's going to be, I have an online application that you'll fill out. It's just going to have some basic information on it. What grade your son is in, what any activities that they're in. We need the parent or guardian's contact number. Then I've got a disclosure on there because sometimes we take photos and trips, and so I need for you to say yes, it's okay if you take photos of my kid and things of that nature. So that's the process. My committee is we're meeting because we really want to be there for these young men.
Yes, sir.
It's kind of a cliche, but it's the truth, man. They're our future, and they need to know that they have options, and I think that's the main thing. And quite honestly, they need to see black men that look like them that are doing some things positive, and they may not
Yes,
have
sir.
that. There again, I'm a perfect example. My mother and father were divorced the year I was born.
Okay.
I ain't say it's my fault. I was a makeup baby. Didn't work out. But the truth of the matter is, I was lucky because I had George Williams' father and John Gray's father,
Okay,
and
I know what
George
you're
Williams.
talking about.
I had other men
I
around
know
that I
what you're
could
talking
I could fill the gap.
Yes, sir.
right, fill in the gap.
Yes, sir.
Taught me how to fish, how to work electrician, Mr. Hopkins. And look at this. This is over 50, 60 years ago, and I still remember these men's names.
Yes, sir.
right, because they taught me taught me things that I use today on how to fix stuff and all that.
Yes.
And I don't know. I do want to make sure that we're clear on the myth of the disappearing black male, and they ain't there. We everywhere.
Come on.
It's the 80-20 rule.
Thank you, sir.
20% may not be the quality of man they need to be, but 80% of us are.
Yes, sir.
And the thing is, when you get in these organizations, you get to adopt a man for a little while, and figure some stuff out for him and move on to the next one.
Well, let me ask this, unless DeQuay has something.
No, as I'm listening to you talk, I just think our young black men, there's no such thing as having too many positive role models. So for those that already have positive role models in their lives, and kudos to you for adding to that. For those that do not have any, double kudos to you for adding to that. So
Praise
that's what I
God.
want to add.
Well, let me ask him this question, DeQuay Wilson. At what point, indeed, do participants in the Kappa League have an interaction with young ladies, with young girls?
Never.
Yeah, I'll tell you what now, let me put it in context.
Uh,
Because this is something that some young people can appreciate, but I'm finding that a lot of people did not get this. I'm older than I thought I was. I was 11 or 12, and my peers started asking me, have they done it yet? What you talking about? Have they done it yet? Your old man, did he give you the talk yet? And I didn't know initially between 11 and right around in there. Well, by the time I was 13, I knew what the talk was.
Right.
Now, the reason it is interesting to people in 2024 is because in the 50s and 60s, everybody knew what you meant when you said the talk. And that was your father talking to you about young ladies, talking to you about respect, talking to you about being careful, all of that, but it was based upon male-female relations. 2024, since about at least 2014. Now, I'm saying to a youngster, has your father had the talk? And they're translating that how to deal with the police.
that,
Go ahead.
No, no. Let me talk about the first part, and then I'm gonna key in on that. I literally, as you guys saw when I came here, I ran in because I was working with Delta Sigma Theta has a young ladies group called Delta Gems, and I was talking to that chairman, and her and I were talking about, okay, we do need to do some things together, because I know a couple years ago we had a 5-course dinner for them.
Okay.
And so they learned etiquette, what
Thank you.
forks and spoons you use. We had the ladies there, and they learned some of the things they're supposed to do with ladies. But going back to your other thing that you said, the talk, and you're exactly right. That first of all, because of social media and everything, these kids, they already know all this stuff. Like when they're I don't want to get too detailed, but by the time
Yes,
they're in
sir.
8th grade, they know
Yes,
they
sir.
know all of everything and then some, right?
Yes, sir.
But the talk is about, and this, let me tell you a personal experience. So my son went out to school in Blue Springs, and one day I'm driving him to school because that was quality time for us, because you don't have dinner time no more with your kids, right?
Right.
So I'm like, let me drive my kid to school, and I get him in the first thing in the morning so I can get his head right. So Brother Boyd, I'm not even ashamed to say it. I'm driving and I start crying, right? And because I'm giving him the talk.
Yes, sir.
And he said, Dad, why are you crying? And I said, at a time in your life, you're 14, 15 years old, I'm supposed to be giving you manhood skills, and I'm teaching you how to survive out here from a police officer. Now, I'm not saying police officers are all
No,
bad.
I hear you.
But I am saying there are situations that we get into, especially with a young man whose testosterone level, they have no control. You pulling me over, what you pull? And then they watch the
Yes.
videos where you can challenge the cops. I can't challenge the police.
Come on.
It's like, my son has seen me get pulled over for it, and it
Sure.
was legitimate.
Yes, sir.
My
Yes,
tags
sir.
were expired, and he saw my behavior,
Thank you.
which was a teachable moment for him. But it was really sad for me that day that I'm sitting here, basically teaching him how to be submissive.
My Lord.
So
Thank you.
not to offend.
That's exactly right.
It's 2024, and we're still having to speak in a way that's not offensive to white people,
Right.
so that they don't feel bad.
My Lord.
And I'm like, it's just amazing. But what are my alternatives? I'm like, don't worry about it, son. We're fixing on the back end. We okay. So situation happened with him. He's a little older now. He's out in Blue Springs and he's driving. Tell him be careful and all that type of stuff. Dad, I got a ticket. What'd you do? He said I ran a red light. He did. I did run the red light. Okay.
Yeah.
So things happen,
Right.
Got his ticket and came home. But this Brother Boyd, this is what I did the next day. Next day, we went out to the police department. We're out in Blue Springs.
Yes, sir.
And I did a little acting. And my son was with me. I said, I need to speak. I can't remember Officer Charles. Can't remember his name, but I was like, I need to speak with Officer Charles.
Yes.
Very, straightforward. The Officer Charles isn't here. Oh, okay. Who's his supervisor? I need to speak with him.
Yes.
And so then sergeant comes out, and you
Right.
can tell he's in a defensive stance and everything.
Already.
He said, "Does Officer Charles work for you?" "Well, yeah. What's the problem?" I said, "Well, this is my son Miles." I said, "Officer Charles pulled him over and gave him a ticket yesterday. I just wanted to come out and thank him." And he said, "Thank him." I said, "Yeah, I've been talking to my son about being careful on red lights.
Yes.
You know, that officer may have saved his life because he could have T-boned. So I just wanted him to come out. I just wanted to come out and thank the officer for telling him this." Guess who appeared out of nowhere?
Oh, Officer Charles.
right?
Just happened.
Right. So I said, "Officer Charles, hey, you know, my name's Mark Davis. This is my son Miles." Yeah, he's real respectful, and all this type of stuff,
okay.
right? Okay, well, there again, I just wanted to thank you for all
Is
that.
that right?
Yeah.
He did say that.
Yeah. He said my son was real respectful and everything because coached him on how to do
Well.
things. But here's the key. So we left. I got my son in the car. I said, "Son, why did I do that?" "Well, because you wanted to thank him." I'm like, "Oh my God," right? I said, "No, I wanted them to know that, one, you got a daddy. They know your car because you got a red car.
Come on.
Two, that your daddy will come in here,
Yes, sir.
right, and speak on behalf."
Yes, sir.
So what I'm doing is I'm marketing so you will never get pulled over again out here. You know
Yes,
what?
sir.
Never got pulled over again.
See?
But the other reason is this, and this is a little key. I just want to, if there's any parents out there that got boys, when your boys get their driver's license, they need to have a collared shirt on or a blazer.
Yes, sir.
You know why? Because if you got your hoodie on and everything else on your driver's license,
Yes, sir.
and most of our kids are, they're athletes, whatever. So he pulls you over. He looks at the license. You got, T-shirt on or hoodie, and he looks in the car and you got the same thing on. He's gonna
Yes.
say that's your uniform. That
Thank
means
you.
that's who you are.
Yes.
But if he has a collared shirt on
Yes, sir.
and he gets pulled over and he's got some sweats on, he's gonna look at the driver's license and then look at that and be like, okay, this is who the kid is. He just happens to be going somewhere.
Exactly.
And this is what I talk about is we have to be so cerebral and so tactical with the rules that we teach our sons.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be like that, but it
Absolutely.
is. And so, yeah, have your kid. My son, you want to drive? Yeah, go put on a blazer,
There you go.
right? So you have some options.
Wow. But this is so good because, unfortunately, as we talk about multimedia, as we talk about images that come in front of our youngsters on an ongoing basis, frequently and dynamically, the alternate needs to be presented at some time because some young people don't even know there is
Yeah.
that ultimate. And as we are talking about it, how many times, DeQuay, children learn more by example than they do by instruction? As we talk about examples, attend your regular church service today and observe attire.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time, DeQuay, in our younger days, much older than you, there was a certain attire where I would say to Brother Davis, "You going to church? You going to preach? You going downtown?"
Mhm.
Because there was a certain attire that fit that particular environment. Nowadays, you can attend a funeral, you can go to church, and people are very casual, and young people need to know that there is an alternative that does help you in situations like that. So we're coming too close to the end.
Let me tell you real quick.
Want you to.
We do have a program too where we work directly with the police officers and we have our kids
Oh,
come in.
is that
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And then we have I want to say cops and bats or something like. I can't remember that one because that's not my program exactly.
Okay.
But the other one, once a year, yeah, we have the boys interface with the police officers so they can say, okay, this is what we look at when we pull you over. This is what we're thinking. This is what
Okay.
we're looking. That's part of our program that
What
we
is-
do every year.
What's Merrill Bennigan's
Yeah, that's my guy.
position? Yeah, absolutely. Is he still with the police department?
Yeah, he
Is
still is, and he's
in
doing some teaching and some other things. So
Ex-
yeah, so
yeah.
he's an excellent contact, and he was my predecessor in the Kappa League. So
Yes,
I
sir.
get a chance to utilize his experience in this. But yeah, it's important to have the dialogue with people because once you know someone, then it's a little bit different. Like
Yes.
I said, when you in
Yes.
your senior year of college, everybody should go into the military for your senior year. Why? Because it forces you to be around people you normally wouldn't be around.
Wow.
And so it's a different dynamic. They're not like that because I was in the military with that guy. That's not how such and such
Yeah.
acts. But if
Yeah.
that's all you know, that's all you know.
This is so very, very interesting in a very prejudicial, if you will, way. I am more than proud to be a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. We have this honor today, not only particularly to hear from Mark Davis, but these programs are important. What Kappa League is doing is very important. I would be remiss near the end of the program today if I did not suggest that there is something called the Divine Nine. And there are other fraternities and sororities with whom we are proud to partner. And we see them on an ongoing basis, interactively. So believe it or not, and I'm speaking in behalf of Brother Mark Davis, Brother Carl Boyd, the fraternity. If you were to get a phone call and this person said, my grandfather in Wynne, Arkansas, was a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Are you an Omega? I'm not an Omega. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. Would it be all right to ask you if you could help me get in touch with the Omegas?
Oh, absolutely, because I'm also our representative for the Divine Nine.
Thank you.
So yeah, and that's that whole, when you're undergrad, a little bit different, but we've got our MPHC here in Kansas City. We're doing a great job of learning the collaboration business.
You.
Because my fear is something major is going to happen, and we've got to collaborate now. So when this major thing happens, we can throw the hat up. You know what I'm saying? We know what's going on. That's why it's so important for the Divine Nine to work together, so that at the call, we just need to make a call. We're all coming together. We already work together, so we know what's going on. Matter of fact, we have our Founders Day coming up in May for the MPHC, and we're gonna we got some homeless we're gonna feed, and we got a street we're gonna clean.
See,
so
look at that.
Yeah,
man, this is so good. We are already at the end of the program, but before we end the program, anything you want to make sure that we hear before we get away?
Yeah, call me 816-213-3711 if you want your young man to be part of Kappa League program. And it can be your nephew or your cousin or anyone like that. It doesn't have to be your direct, your child. But we want to, the program works best when we have a lot of boys that they can actually learn from one another. Iron sharpens iron.
Yes, sir. It was very interesting. I think it was 1984, 1985. Gloria Sadler Hall was the principal at Southeast Junior High, and she gave me 13 youngsters to become a part of Kappa Kuji Chagalia. And one of those youngsters was now Reverend Antoine Lee, and we actually had a coat of arms that we recited at the beginning, and he designed it. But not only is it redeeming as it relates to the quality of presentation, it's actually fun.
Oh yeah, kids have fun because we go out and do things too.
Yes,
it's
sir.
It's not a bunch of classroom stuff. We may go see Royals game. Everybody went out to the baseball team over in Kansas last year. So there's some family outings that we can do. So
and you're saying the youngsters have fun?
Oh yeah.
Anybody else have fun?
Yeah, adults have fun too. Because sometimes we put the kids against the adults, and kids be beating them. Especially with a lot of the trivia type questions and the riddles and stuff. Parents be sitting back there, the adults be like, "Oh, how they figure that out?"
Exactly. We gotta go. I'm sorry, and I'm not gonna get my whole remark in, but you can dismiss us. 816-213-3711. Go right ahead.
I just want to thank everyone for joining us.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Since we went over, my name is Carl Boyd. This is Wave Your Grades. Thank you to Brother Mark Davis, to KUAW Wilson. Gracious God and wonderful Wanda, I'm on my way home.